Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in today. Just wanted to show off a new costume item I made for Stormtroopers. It's a holster for these binders, okay? And you can find these binders online, and they're obviously made for a Stormtrooper costume. Now normally they come with this plastic hook that goes around this top part and then hooks onto your belt. Now it's really, really difficult to get that unlatched when you're at a convention or you're running a photo booth or something and you're trying to interact with fans. It just looks kind of awkward. So I came up with this idea of this holster that you can thread your Stormtrooper belt through. This is going to be a 3-inch slot that's pre-cut, and then you can just have this mounted on your belt. You just feed your belt through, put your belt on, put binders in, and then you can get your binders whenever you want. And so how the kit's going to come is 2 separate vacuum pieces, okay? They'll be roughly trimmed out, and the slot will be cut out for, it'll be a 3-inch slot for your canvas belt. And so what you want to do when you're preparing to put this together is really, really simple. You can get a piece of sandpaper, okay, and maybe a wood block and a pair of your Lexan scissors. Make sure this edge is, relatively consistent and straight all the way around. You don't want it to be, trimmed like too lopsided or anything like that. Like if it's about 1.5 inches or something all the way around, that'll be perfect. So once you're done trimming that out with your scissors, take your sandpaper on the block and just smooth that out. Or use a belt sander really carefully. You don't want to, because a belt sander is really fast, it'll take off a lot of material. You just want to even that out a little bit. What you want to do next is sand down the outside of this inner binder shell, okay? And then you're going to do the same. You're going to prepare this outer shell, and you're going to now sand the inside of it, okay, all the way around. Now what you're going to be doing is pretty simple. You're just going to be gluing these 2 halves together. But the reason why it's not assembled is that different people might want this sort of thickness at different heights or different, just different thicknesses, because the way it is right now, it'll fit these store-bought binders just fine, okay? And it should probably be right about like that, okay? Just so that there's a little bit of play so you can get it in and out. But an advantage of this is that if you wanted to, you could actually glue these ever so slightly further apart, like say 1/2 inch apart or something, and then there'd be enough room to put your phone in, or credit cards, or money, or whatever else you're using for your, when you're walking around a convention, okay? So there's enough room in there such that if you, glued these about, again, like about 1/2 inch, leaving about a 1/2 inch gap there's enough to slide your phone in, okay? So some people might want to do that. Some people don't. It's totally up to you, but that's why it doesn't come assembled. But what I would suggest is put your binders in, test fit it, see where it should go, and because you trimmed these outer edges and sanded them nice and straight, you can make a pencil mark to indicate where it's going to be glued together. I wouldn't do any other trimming or sanding around the edge just yet. I would leave it until it's glued together. But then I would use E6000. It's probably the same stuff you used for your armor. And you want to spread some E6000 using a popsicle stick all the way around this inside part. And spread a couple beads here, smooth it out with a popsicle stick, let it tack up for 3 to 5 minutes, then join the parts together and line it up properly, like how you sort of pre-lined it up, pre-measured it, maybe made some pencil marks. And then you can use clamps or you can use magnets, whatever you want to hold it together. Magnets, these rare earth magnets are 3/4 of an inch. They'd be really handy for putting like maybe 5 of them like along here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just all the way around the inside, and then using them on the outside. And that'll just keep the 2 halves nicely glued together. Once it's fully cured, then what I would do is that if there's any kind of excess material here, you can then trim it with your scissors or sand it smooth, okay? And I would sand this outer edge smooth as well too. Make sure to leave this bump here intact, okay? That was formed into the buck on purpose just to give it a little bit of structural strength so that when it's on your belt, it wasn't all thin and floppy here. This is a custom thickness of ABS. It's 0.75, and I use it for making various cosplay props, and it's pretty durable. So, but yeah, once it's all glued together, just sand that and make it nice and neat, and you'll have yourself a nice set of binder holsters. Okay, all right. So I hope that helps you out. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.